Okay, welcome to Senate Transportation. This is the confirmation hearing for the Transportation Commission. So we have two of the appointees here in person and online. We also have Rob Kruger from the governor's office who's going to start us off. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Just the way that we're going to proceed here is we'll take a vote here, a recommendation that we'll send on to the full Senate at the end. And this is our opportunity to, rare opportunity that we have to do some oversight and give some, talk and maybe give some direction to the folks who are going to have more direct oversight over the Wyoming Department of Transportation in this case. So certainly appreciate the importance of this role that the Senate plays in the personnel business. We can make all the policy decisions we want. We can make all of the budget decisions we want, but we do have opportunity to have a little bit of input in the personnel side of things. That's also really important. So with that being said, Mr. Krieger, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. Rob Krieger, Senior Advisor to Governor Gordon. I have the privilege this afternoon to introduce the nominees for the Transportation Commission. I'll start with Commissioner Willicks, since he's in the room. Many of you probably know Jim Willicks, since he's been on the commission for Converse County for about 15 years now. He's the most immediate past president of the Wyoming County Commissioners Association. I know he's gone out to DC to testify on behalf of Wyoming and the issues we're facing in small communities. Small business owner, native of Douglas, Wyoming, and he would be the appointment for District 7. So with that, Jim, I'll let you.
Now or Mike, which way? Yeah, come on up, Commissioner, and proceed with your testimony. Then we'll go to the online comment as well. So.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, Jim Willicks, Converse County, and thank you to the governor's office and Rob for this nomination. Yeah, as a commissioner.
Excuse me, Commissioner, I already screwed up. I'm supposed to administer an oath. I'm looking at the script here. So, okay.
I take back what I said.
Yeah, we'll disregard it. So, do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give before this committee will be the truth?
I do.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead and proceed with your statement. Thank you.
I am still Jim Willicks from Converse County. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As indicated, I've been a commissioner for now going into my 17th year and started with transportation issues early on. And one of the things that I'm most proud of as I look at that window of stuff is when I started as commissioner, the relationship between WYDOT and commissioners was poor. There was a misunderstanding of roles. There was not a cooperation or understanding of how we could maintain our road system in the state. And about 12 years ago, we had a big meeting in Gillette where we met at the college up there. And at the time, Del McComey was the chief engineer for WYDOT. And we got a bunch of commissioners and others there. And we kind of talked through our issues. And ever since then, we've really developed a more positive relationship with WYDOT from the commissioner's side. We understand more about the programs. We understand opportunities. And at almost every commissioner statewide meeting we have, that we've either had the chief engineer or the head of the department there sharing information and exchanging back and forth. And that was a relationship that I helped foster, and I think gives me an insight in how WYDOT works. I start at step 2, maybe not step 1. I don't fully understand the department, but I think I understand the need for a transportation system that goes from gravel county roads to paved county roads to state highways to interstates to city streets. And all of those are critical in getting our goods and services and our people around the state. And so that integrated system is something, as Rob indicated, I testified twice before Congress about the difficulties of rural Wyoming and how one-size-fits-all transportation guidance from the Federal Highway Administration and Congress doesn't always work in Wyoming. And so I think I bring that perspective. I put in my application to the governor that I'm willing to speak out and speak up on issues. And I look forward to the opportunity to work with this committee, with the governor's office, and with the WYDOT department as we look for ways to modernize and to continue to have a good infrastructure system in the state. So, Mr. Chairman, I appreciate that opportunity, and I'll answer any questions you or others may have.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. Any questions? Senator Pappas.
Thank you. Appreciate you coming and testifying before us. Do you have any, I guess, big issues or policy concerns that have been burning in your noodle that you may want to be forward to working on while you're on the commission? Is there something that's driving you to be on the commission, that some big burning issue?
Thank you, Senator, Mr. Chairman. No, I don't come in with a single issue. I don't come in with an axe to grind. I realize that that department is probably the largest, most complicated department in the state because of all the things that they are doing. The 24/7 part of it and the law enforcement, and then you take in the roads. I think I really want to have a fuller understanding of the changing dynamic of vehicles on our roads. You talked in your interim committee discussion yesterday about, alternative vehicles and e-vehicles. How do we maintain roads when they don't pay fuel tax? That's a policy and a administrative issue. I want to understand employee retention. There's a huge gap in the number of employees in YDOT right now, and we're witnessing it with some of the road closures. There aren't enough snowplow operators. I don't have the exact number in front of me, but it's pretty significant. Is that cultural? Is it economics? Is it just the world we're in right now? And I suspect it's a little bit of everything, like all job openings are. So no, I don't. I've always been interested in transportation. It was on a short bucket list of things I would like to do to help the state, and this opportunity came up, and I stepped forward. But I want to listen to your guys' concerns, the governor's concerns, and constituents, and work to make things better. So don't have a single thing that's driving me other than the changing environment.
Senator Cole.
Oops. Thank you, Chairman Bonner. Commissioner Willicks, good day, sir. I'm surprised in the brevity of your written statement. It reflects
A lot of
a
editing.
disconnection between what I've known in the past. But my question is this: being a county commissioner, currently elected county commissioner, do you foresee any conflicts of sitting on this commission in that? You're I don't know, how will you separate competing issues? Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, Senator Cole, fair question, and I've thought a lot about that, and I think it was a discussion the governor's office had as well. But here's the thing: that I am on a committee right now that would have a direct, and I'm resigning from that should I be approved, which is the Federal Land Access Program, which is a state, federal, and local program that helps build roads into federal economic generator. So we've done some work in Teton Park, Teton County, we've done in Park, we've done it around the state. I'm resigning from that committee because that had direct funding authority. The rest of them have a pretty vigorous vetting process before they get to the commission. But I don't foresee a specific conflict that I would face, but I will be aware of it and look for it. I also fall in the belief that part of the reason people get elected and serve is because of their background and what they bring to the table. I bring to the table understanding a local perspective, how to implement some of those programs and those needs. So I hope to be able to balance that and make sure I don't reach a conflict. But I've thought about it. I don't think there'll be one I can see today. But if approved, we have an orientation session next Thursday, and I'll get more details from both the AG's office and others to make sure I don't cross that line.
Okay, any further questions, committee? Okay, so I have one that we've been hearing, and apparently there's various accounts, but the example of a change order within YDOT that went up to $5 million in violation of YDOT rules. And so I'm wondering, as commissioner, how would you deal with situations like that? What's your role as a transportation commissioner in making sure that YDOT complies with all rules and regulations?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I've heard secondhand of that, so I don't have any exact knowledge of it. But I'm a guy that believes that you follow the rules, and if the rules are incorrect, you change them in the appropriate manner that is necessary, whether it's legislative or rules and regs. So if I ever saw something that I thought was violating, I would bring it to the attention of the chairman and loudly, and make sure the body addressed it. I also recognize that there are times that you may have to do stuff in between meetings and approve something on the fly. Well, there's a mechanism for that. There's special meetings. The Zoom capabilities that we have now clearly allow for the need, if you need to get to the commission to do something that's happening fast, and in construction, speed does matter at times. So if that's important, then you get a special meeting and go through the right process. So that would be the way I would approach it. You follow the rules, and if the rules don't fit the need, then you bring it to the people that can change the rules so you can address it. And you did that with the construction management one. That's, those rules wouldn't let you be creative. Now they got maybe some more options to look at how you bid stuff, is one small example.
And specifically, if you had a violation of those rules, how would you deal with that? I understand the need for the process and everything, but in an instance where, there's, say, a state employee that violated the rules and perhaps, well, if they did it more than once, how would you deal with that as a commissioner?
And I guess maybe I didn't hear you or didn't answer. You could bring it to the commission. I mean, that the commission is that body that would deal with it, and they would either direct the director to take appropriate action. If you're not satisfied at that level, then I believe it would go to the AG's office. That's my guess. I don't know that full reporting, but I would assume the commission has the first authority to direct the director to do something. And if the director fails to take action, then I believe you go to the AG's office. But that's me trying to understand. But I would not let it sit, I guess would be my answer. If something has been done wrong, we need to either correct it or have consequences for it appropriately. So I guess, but I don't know if I know the path today.
Right, exactly. Not trying to test you, see if
Right.
you know
No,
the exact.
I won't
procedure,
sit on it.
But okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. Senator Cole.
Thank you, Chairman Boner. Yeah, I was a Senate liaison, still am, for YDOT. So I've listened to the meetings for 2 years. And I was there when that came up. And the issue is, you folks set those rules. So that YDOT themselves has internal rules. And those internal rules were in conflict, in my humble, evaluation, with what they stated on the website about how much money is supposed to go to change orders and contracts. So those are things I hope you'll take up when you see an issue there about some sort of transparency. I see it as transparency with the public, because they're going to cry foul, because, the old story goes, if it looks bad, it is bad. And it's not to say anyone was doing anything wrong, like it wasn't, going against their rules. They promulgated rules to let this happen. So I hope you'll be part of a solution to bring this back to the people, so it's more of an even playing field when it comes to, I guess, what the public sees and what you guys do, or your group does as a commission. I look forward. Do you think can you do that?
Mr. Chairman, Senator Cole, I believe so. Again, the situation is not familiar to me, but you have your rules and procedures and you follow them accordingly. And if not, then you need to do something about it.
Okay, any further questions? Okay, thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr.
Appreciate
Chairman,
the
members of the
testimony.
committee. Appreciate this opportunity.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next appointee. Looks like we have Mike Baker from Thermopolis. Mr. Krieger, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Baker, some of you may know as his time in the legislature, he was a six-term representative in the Wyoming House of Representatives for House District 28. During his tenure, served as chairman of TRW as well as the Appropriations Committee, so understands the state government and that process very well. Also served 5 years as a Hot Springs County Commissioner, so he knows the local aspect as well. He's a farmer and rancher in North Thermopolis, avid outdoorsman, and he would be the appointment to fill District 5 position. With that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn to Mr. Baker.
Hey, Representative Baker, welcome. Good to see you. Feel free to proceed with your testimony, sir.
Thank you. Are you hearing me clearly?
Yes, we can hear you and see you just fine.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I'm sorry, I think you need to swear me in, is that right?
That is correct. Thank you. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you give before this committee will be the truth?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you, sir. Please proceed.
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to do so remotely. It was a concern of mine yesterday, and I probably pushed Kim and your secretary a little hard to know the details of this meeting, because it was scheduled, then it wasn't, and then it was scheduled again. And I wanted to know whether I needed to travel to Cheyenne or not, because that's a big deal for me, 11 hours of travel time. And so I do appreciate you allowing me to participate remotely. And so that's a huge deal in my world. When I leave, my top hand, which is my wife, usually wants to go with me, and somebody has to make arrangements for this, the cattle to be fed, or the chores to be done around here. So I appreciate that. First of all, members of the Senate Transportation Committee. I appreciate the governor appointing me, and I appreciate this opportunity to present myself, more importantly for your questions than anything else. But I would like to say that my experience in particular, dealing with the Appropriations Committee in the years that I was chairman of that, and the ability to handle large budgets, should put me in good standing to look at the very large budget, and I have an interest in those budgetary issues, always have, and that's an important thing in my world to making sure that this Department of Transportation runs correctly. The first priority to me is to get the dollars to the ground and make sure that the department is being friendly to the needs of the citizens of the state. I have and am dependent on the transportation system to not only deliver the goods to me that I need to run our operation here, but also to deliver. Interesting point, the last 7 days, I have not been able to deliver my hay to a customer living on 287 between Sweetwater Junction and Muddy Gap. As you very well know, that's been an extreme troubling situation down there. And I've told the young operator down there many years ago, I was not going to be delivering in February. And guess what? I probably won't be delivering in February. It's going to be March before I can even get there because of the road. My point being in saying this personal stuff is that I am aware that I, and in particular the Bighorn Basin, are dependent, and we are dependent on the transportation system in the state of Wyoming for all of our goods and services and all of our, both in and out of this operation, and the operations here and the tourism, all the things that go on in the Bighorn Basin. So that brings me, I was approached by a friend of the governor's and asked if I wouldn't serve, and then the governor and I spoke, and I allowed my name to be put forward. I look forward to the opportunity to get to be involved with Commissioner Willits again. He served as chairman of the Transportation Committee on the Wyoming County Commissioners Association while I was a member back 6-7 years ago. So anyway, it would be great if given that opportunity to do so, and I look forward to serving with the other members of the commission and getting to know more friends in and across this state. Mr. Chairman, that's my general opening. I would submit to questions from you or any members of the committee or whoever might be there that you would allow, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any questions, committee? Senator Pappas.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it, Mr. Baker. Same question I asked Mr. Wilcox. Any particular policy issues that you may be wanting to address while you're on your term and as a commissioner? Any agenda items or particular things that you're looking to work on?
Well, right now, thank you, Senator Pappas and Mr. Chairman. I am concerned about the personnel and retention of the personnel within the department and that professionalism as we go forward with that retention. And then again, I will mention service back to the communities and to the individuals within the state. Those are my two. Are there any other is there a burning issue? No, I don't know a lot of the personnel anymore. They have changed since I was in the legislature, or as Commissioner Willicks was saying, even Del McComey has come and gone. So I don't have any burning issue that I am trying to bring forward, or I will say that one that does concern me a little bit is that the meetings of the commission are run in a proper and manner and comply with the open meetings law. That is a concern of mine. I don't have any real any real reason to have that concern, except for going back and reading past minutes. And the schedule that they have, there does appear to be opportunities where the commission eats together, those sorts of things, which is fine. But it does bring a question in my mind as to how they're handling the open meetings law and making sure that they're not discussing issues beyond the scope of what should be handled in an open meeting. And they're not handling that. I just want to make sure of that. That's a concern that I've seen just by going back and reading minutes.
Okay, any further questions, committee? Okay, I'll ask the same question I asked Commissioner Willicks. Sir, if you, just wondering how you might react, or what your general philosophy is if you run into an instance where a YDOT employee does not follow rules, regulations, procedures, how would you react as a commissioner?
Well, first of all, this would need to be a board decision, a discussion in particular, and then the proper procedure of discipline of an employee should be carried out, and carried out promptly. This is not something that you sweep under the rug at all, ever. The worst thing you can do, in my opinion, is to pretend something doesn't exist when it is made clear to you. You do not. You react immediately, strongly, and in my opinion, that is both helpful to the commission, to the staff, and to that employee. That they know that there will be, that all the employees know that there will be an abrupt and clear action taken when and if something like that occurs. I am not aware of the situation. I did not find it in the meeting minutes that I went through. And so I'd like to be brought up to speed. This brings questions to my mind. And so I will be asking about that the first opportunities I get.
Right, and to be clear, I try to keep it as broad as possible, because there's some lack of agreement as to what exactly the fact pattern is. But I thought it'd be a good general question to ask the commissioners, what your perspective is in general on those sorts of things. So I appreciate that response, sir. Any additional questions? Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Baker, for your time. Appreciate your you joining us, and we like Zoom when it's appropriate, and this is certainly appropriate use when we have about 10 minutes worth of questions at most, and we don't want you to make you drive 11 hours for that. So
Thank you.
so
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Yeah, anybody online, any public comment? Okay. Looks like we're good. Okay, so we'll go ahead. Any further discussion, committee, on these two appointees? Okay, I will entertain a motion that we forward the names of Jim Willicks and Mike Baker for Transportation Commission to the full Senate for confirmation. So moved by Senator Pappas. Any further discussion? Okay, let's do a roll call.
Senator Brennan. Senator Furphy. Senator Kolb. Senator Pappas. Chairman Boner. 4 ayes, 1 excused.
Yes, Mr. Chairman? I just, to both Mr. Willicks and Mr. Baker, I am going to be the liaison from the Senate to the commission, so I look forward to working with both you gentlemen, so, and getting to know you well. Thank you.
Right, and just one little piece of housekeeping, I think we're gonna make it a priority, make sure we have at least one member of the commission in all of our joint meetings. Right now, we're tentatively scheduled for Douglas, Casper, and Cheyenne. So that's up to at least 2 potentially new members here. That's something we're hoping to make sure is a regular occurrence so that, we keep up that line of communication, make sure that the commission understands our intent. I know that's not always clear behind some of the bills that we pass or so the discussion in the background of any potential legislation we create during the interim. So that being said, any other housekeeping? Hey, looks like we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.